For our evidence-based practice, Erin and I will be discussing semantic feature analysis and how this strategy can benefit all students, but especially students with disabilities. Students with disabilities may have poor reading comprehension and lack vocabulary skills that other students in their grade level already have. This can lead students to feel discouraged and frustrated in their efforts. That is why the evidence-based practice, semantic feature analysis, is a great practice to implement in your classroom. Using semantic feature analysis can help students understand the material better, which in turn can lead to an increase in confidence and a decrease in frustration at school. Have you ever had a student say, "It takes me so long to read something, it's hard to follow along with everything going on"? Or, "I didn't really get what the book was about"? Have you ever thought as a teacher, "He seems to focus on the wrong aspects of the passage"? For example, he concentrates so much on the details that the main idea is lost. If you as an educator or as a student have ever said something similar to this, the student is probably having some difficulty in reading comprehension. A semantic feature analysis uses a grid or chart to help students notice connections between the material. By utilizing this grid, students are able to make connections and master the important concepts of the lesson. Semantic feature analysis can be used as a whole class activity in small groups or individually with students who are struggling to grasp the material from a reading. The goal of the semantic feature analysis is to improve comprehension and vocabulary skills on a topic. This evidence-based practice helps students recall prior knowledge and make connections on the material we are learning now. By providing a visual component and breaking down a large concept into multiple clear, simple categories, it makes it easier for students to retain the information. Semantic feature analysis can be used before reading, during reading, and even after reading. Another benefit of using semantic feature analysis is that this evidence-based practice can be applied to English, math, science, and social studies. This strategy is very versatile and teachers can use it at the elementary, middle, and high school level. Semantic feature analysis can benefit all students, but especially students with disabilities, because it gives them multiple opportunities to respond to questions, and it helps them make connections and associations that they previously couldn't make with the material. One case study done in 1989 found that there was a strong positive correlation between text comprehension and semantic feature analysis. In a case study of 50 students, 25 students used the semantic feature analysis to accompany their lessons for 6 months, and the other 25 students received regular instruction without the use of a semantic feature analysis. After the 6 months had passed, the students who used the semantic feature analysis performed significantly better on assessments than those who did not. In social studies or history classes, semantic feature analysis can be used to compare and contrast characteristics of important people, places, and time periods. This example compares and contrasts Presidents FDR, JFK, Nixon, Reagan, and Clinton by their political party, whether or not they were president during a war, and other factors that will help students make connections between them. In science classes, semantic feature analysis can be used to understand properties and characteristics of living creatures. This example compares features and characteristics of amphibians, fish, reptiles, birds, and mammals based on their physical characteristics. This example compares different geometric shapes by distinguishing them from each other based on their properties. This allows students to make connections between shapes that share the same properties. Here's an example of a worksheet to learn about different shapes and their properties. This example is not a semantic feature analysis because in order to be classified as a semantic feature analysis, it would need to be in a grid format where students would be able to clearly see the similarities and differences between the shapes. Even though one may be able to identify similarities and differences, students with disabilities may not be able to see these connections and would benefit more from the semantic feature analysis comparing geometric shapes in the previous slide. Next, we're going to demonstrate a lesson on the key concepts of World War II using a semantic feature analysis. Today we're going to be talking about World War II, so Anna's going to pass out our semantic math worksheet. First, we would like to review how our our previous topic of World War I connects to World War II. So from your reading over the weekend, can anyone tell me how World War II connects to World War I? Matt?
Well, after World War I, the Allies came up with the Treaty of Versailles, and this treaty essentially blamed Germany for the war. Germany had to pay millions of dollars in reparation, which left Germany's economy at an all-time low, and that ended up being one of the causes of World War II.
That's absolutely correct. So the Treaty of Versailles basically blamed Germany entirely for World War I, and it kind of left their economy at a really, really bad place. So Germany was very vulnerable. So now we're going to take a look at our semantic map for World War I. And the goal after completing this map is that we'll kind of all have a better understanding of all of the main concepts of World War II. So, and what the main repercussions of the war are.
Okay, so as Erin said, we're going to now start to go over our semantic map. We're going to have 3 bullets for each of them. And we already know from Matt that one of the causes was the Treaty of Versailles. Okay, and so now that we know that, let's see if we can think of another cause. So another cause would be Japanese imperialism. Now it's important to understand the why this was the cause of World War II. Does anyone know why Japanese expansion was the cause of World War II? Matt?
I'm not sure I know. In the reading, it talks about Japanese expansion, but I don't see how it relates to World War II.
Okay, yeah, it's a little bit confusing at first to see how Japanese expansion was the cause of World War II. Let's think about another way. So we know that Japan was growing and their economy was starting to take off and they didn't have enough resources. So, since they wanted to expand, they needed to find other resources. They had to go to other countries. Now, if someone decided that they wanted to have a bigger house and they decided that they wanted to take your home, would you just let them take it, or would you think you'd want to protect the house and keep it?
Well, yeah, it's my house.
Good answer. So that's exactly what other countries thought. So other countries, when Japan invaded in Manchuria and China, they wanted to retaliate and fought back because someone was invading their home. Does that make sense now? So why that's the cause of World War II?
Yeah.
Right, so to jump on what Anna said, so since Japan was an island off the coast of Asia, they didn't have all these natural resources. So they started taking over other countries and invading other countries to gain control of those natural resources. And Germany was doing the same. They started invading surrounding countries under Hitler's regime, and other countries were kind of like, we got to put a stop to this. We can't just let them keep taking over. So imperialism is another cause. Okay, so now that we see the causes of World War II, let's make sure we know some examples of what aren't causes. So, for example, we said that the rule of Hitler in Germany was kind of a big factor that of the reason that imperialism began. But what's not a cause would be, for example, that the leader of England at the time of the United Kingdom was Winston Churchill. That's not a cause. The leader of the United States at the time was President FDR. Not a cause, right? Because these leaders did not cause any issues in worldwide politics very much. So Matt, can you think of anything that is a non-example of a cause?
The U.S. giving weapons to Allied powers.
Yes, and that's a very good example of something that was important during World War II that didn't cause the war. Because the U.S. wasn't picking sides, as they said. They said that they were just giving weapons for money. That was it. Okay, so now, Matt, I want you to start working and filling out the worksheet, and if you have any questions, you could just ask me or Erin.
Alright. So let's make sure we're all on the same page. So Matt, can you tell me what was one of your bullets for the groups involved?
I put that the Allied powers and the Axis.
Correct. So we have the Allied powers were one alliance, and then the Axis powers were another alliance. So, can you tell me the countries that you had involved?
I think the Allies were England, France, and U.S., and I'm not sure who else. And the Axis powers were Germany, Italy, and Japan.
Great job, Matt. That is absolutely correct. So, now moving on, we are going to go over some of the important battles of the war, some key points, where a lot of the war took place, and some related topics. Semantic feature analysis is a great way to help students break down a complex concept that may be confusing into categories and make connections with the material. It has been proven to be effective in improving reading comprehension and vocabulary retention in students with disabilities. We hope you enjoyed our presentation. Thank you for watching.